We have our guest with us, the woman, the myth, the legend, Miss Ipsa Agnani.
Just come up to Ashish and be like, sir, can we do this? And then depending on how crazy the idea was, it was a easy yes or a slightly delayed yes, but it was mostly a yes.
When you graduated from high school, what was it that you yearned for?
How was that shift from US to UK?
How did you deal with the pressure?
What's your job right now?
Policies can be made based on this. I think I'm just still figuring it out.
I think he's like doing some black magic.
Welcome to the club of people who can never do anything wrong in this building. Our time was a lot of challenging and experimenting and doing things differently.
You got the opportunity to work at Cape Town.
Yeah.
How was it? And I hope that you went to Cape Town and got it.
Students of Billabong have been cursed to not be able to go to South Africa.
How was Cape Town as a place?
What if I tell you that I actually completed my entire masters from my room in Indore?
No.
Unfortunately, I also could not.
The Billabong Podcast.
The first time I saw the Wall of Fame, I read head boy Sikandar Jamal, head girl Ipsa Agnani. I've heard a lot about you. Can you please introduce yourself, ma'am?
Thank you. That's very high praise. I don't know how much of that I deserved, but grateful nonetheless. I'm Ipsa Agnani. I am an alumna of Billabong. I graduated in the batch of 2015, which was the second batch ever to graduate from the Bhopal branch. And yeah, that's my introduction. You've already mentioned it. I was the head girl 2 times actually, including the first head girl of the school. Yeah, I was in the debate team. I was in the student council very often. Yeah, that's me. I don't know.
From what we have heard, you were quite the debater yourself, getting trained by the living legend, Mr. P. Arvin Dakshan. How was that?
It was incredible. Arvin sir, as we called him, he was just a man with so much knowledge, and he was just a walking treasure trove of wisdom. So to be taught by him itself was an honor. He used to teach us English, and on top of that, being trained by him in debate was sort of an added honor. One thing I always remember Arvin sir said is always add humor to your speeches. So Kanav, you're a debater. I will pass on the wisdom. This is straight from Arvin sir. And his humor was very witty. And sometimes his humor was integrated a lot of classic literature lines, which we did not understand. We were not that, oriented in English literature. And then he used to, wait for a reaction, and then he used to smile and laugh by himself. It was adorable to see. He was strict when he needed to be. He used to send chalks flying to whoever was not listening. Some of my classmates had a few hits on their head. But I think everybody remembers that very, very fondly. So yeah, it was grueling. It was also exciting because we were the first team. Medha and I were the first people to represent school at the Frank Anthony debate competition. So it was exciting because of that. It was also very serious in some sense because we wanted to make Arvin so proud. He was such a respectable man throughout school, right? Everybody looked up to him, everybody respected him, not just for his age, but also for all the years of wisdom that he brought with him. That we wanted to do it for him. We wanted to make him proud more than anybody else. So genuinely, it was a privilege to be taught by him and to be trained by him. And I hope that we did him proud.
Yeah, and I feel I think that's something very special to Billabong, that the teacher faculty is always so close with the student and so grounded with them.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that makes our school really on a different level than others.
Yeah.
Talking about student-teacher chemistry, let's talk about the train journeys with Shagun ma'am and the group while you guys were going to Frank Anthony. How was it?
Yeah, so I mentioned that, the practice and the prep for Frank Anthony itself was quite grueling and quite serious because that was in school with Arvin sir. As soon as we got on that train, it was a different trip altogether until we obviously got back on stage at whichever venue that we were participating. The train rides was so much fun. We went to Ahmedabad for the first round, and then we went to Bombay for the second round. And both times, Shagun ma'am chaperoned us. And it was, there are so many memories, I can't even begin to recall. Hitanshi felt very ill and she refused to eat any food, and all she could do, she had a very bad sty infection, I think, or something in her sinus. And the only thing she could eat was, or drink, was hot chai. And then we were just, going around the train trying to get chai for her. And I think Shagun ma'am also, helped us really take the edge off a little bit. And she was like, no matter what, whether you win or you lose, this is a learning experience. We are here to be serious but also have fun and, make this a memorable time, because this has not happened in the history of Billabong yet, that, we've had to travel for a debate competition where we are proudly representing our school, and then we ended up winning the Ahmedabad round as well. So, no, it was very exciting, and I really think that Shagun ma'am was the perfect person to accompany us, because she made it so much fun that it took the stress off, and having her around gave me a lot of confidence.
The thing about Shagun ma'am and Manoj sir is that they make the journey so fun that we went from Bhopal to Delhi.
Yeah.
It was a long journey, and we didn't even know when Delhi came, because we were playing cards with Manoj sir. Shagun ma'am was joking around, and it going to IAYP Rishikesh with Shagun ma'am and Manoj sir was a very fun experience.
Yeah.
Which other school trips did you go to?
Oh, we went to many. The first one ever that school organized that we went to was Bombay. There, Shagun ma'am had not joined school yet. Archana ma'am took us. We went to Bombay. We went to Hyderabad, Mysore, Bangalore. That was one trip. And you think Bhopal to Delhi is long? Bhopal to Bangalore is like over 24 hours journey in the train. And I kid you not, when we used to get on the train, it used to be like one big chaotic family has just entered. Because as Kainat said, the teacher-student bond in Billabong is kind of unique. Tell me about your stories. How are IYP trips now? Are they as crazy, as sort of chaotic, or?
They're always crazy.
Yeah.
Always crazy.
They're meant to prepare you for life, so.
I don't remember anything from my trip to Rishikesh in grade 9.
Yeah.
But in grade 11, I was the school captain.
Yeah.
And I thought I have to manage the whole trip. So I smartly tried to sneak in my phone. And I was so confident that I'll not get caught that I was using it. I was using it in a compartment, and then Viren sir got a glimpse of it.
Oh,
Viren sir did not say anything to me, and then when we reached Rishikesh, Ashish sir came to me and he was like, Shayan, along with your phone, please help us get other phones as well.
Wow, so you are the rat of the.
He
of
really
the
was.
group.
He really was. I know at least 15 people who were victim to his tyranny that day.
This is using your power towards bad.
And it was like everybody was like so in love with him as the school captain. They were like, if Shayan is saying it has to be true. He told everyone that nothing.
People are
will
willingly
happen.
giving them his phones.
Yeah. So I got so anxious getting to know that Ashish sir knows I have my phone.
Yeah. Ashish sir found out.
Yeah, Ashish sir found out that I have my phone, and he told me, and I had a glass of water in my hand and it just fell. I was so anxious about it. Then it was dinner time at that time, so all the students were in the dining hall. So I went, I sat on the table. I told everybody, they know that we have phones. They have prepared a list, and I had this whole lie set up. I told them they have prepared a list: suspicion, high suspicion, and some columns. And then I was like, they know my phone. I have brought my phone as well. So it's better that you submit your phone. My guarantee that you'll get it back. So like, Shanvya, are you sure? Like, yes, I'm sure. I'm giving my phone. And then every night we used to have this team meeting. Like all 90 students used to gather in the courtyard, and there I brought my phone.
Wait, you said all 90 students?
Yeah, 90 students.
That is the thing now? There are 2,000 obviously.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then to gain their trust, I brought my phone. And then I was like, guys, I'm really sorry for disappointing you, but I have broken my rules. And as my teachers have told me to lead by example, this is me submit. And it was all drama.
That's what they mean when they say lead by example. Good God. Yeah, no. But I think well deserved. If you can pull that off and if you have that sort of charisma over people, then sure.
And even after that, there was like not a single person hating on him after that also.
Yeah.
Because he just, I don't
Shayan
know.
can do nothing wrong in this
I
school.
think he's like doing some like, black magic. Behind
Welcome to the club of people who can never do anything
Yeah.
wrong in this building. Nice.
We have another thing in common. We both have been the leaders of the student council.
Yeah.
How was it leading the student council at your time?
So I don't really remember too much of my first time, to be honest. The second time we had a proper election, there were campaigns. I've heard a lot about your campaign. I've heard that there was the like a lot of dhol and all of that. That was actually, I think, started in our times by Adam, who was a head boy candidate, I think the year that I was also standing for elections. And we had proper, like, full democratic fashion. We had voting, we had campaigns. Election campaigns were meant to stop 2 days before the voting. At that time, we were required to submit a manifesto, which I think you also have to do. So I had a little bit of a better sense of what I want to do. We had already had 3-4 student councils. We knew with a bit more clarity what comes with the responsibility of being school captain or head girl in my case. And I was in grade 10 that year. We organized, so it was a very multifaceted role. It was about organizing events like Teachers' Day, debate competitions, sports days and stuff, helping with that. But it was also about kind of, just setting an example to the student body, just kind of leading by example. I think people are always watching you. If you are the school captain, if you're wearing sort of that blazer and that badge, it comes with a certain sort of aura of its own, right? So yeah, a lot of it was also randomly. I was telling the council members yesterday, a lot of it was spent, at least for me, holding bouquets, standing at the reception, waiting for chief guests to arrive and being like, welcome ma'am, welcome sir, welcome to Billabong and all of that. But I think that that title has stayed with me long after. I think a lot of people who know me, whose children know me because they were juniors in school, they would come up to me and their parents would say, we want our child to become like you, which is very sort of endearing and very humbling. So that is lovely. But yeah, and then after grade 10, when I had a little bit more time, grade 11, we created our own Minister of Cultural Affairs position because we wanted to be in the council, because we were like this guy last year. We went to Ashish's office and we were like, sir, there should be a Minister of Cultural Affairs because we are doing too many events now and the school captains can't do it all. So I became that. And that year, I don't know, you can cut this out if you want to, but that year my whole agenda was being in this room and fighting and advocating. I was just advocating for other students. So we were kind of like, doing our own thing, kind of charting the path as we went and really kind of building the plane as we fly it, really, with the student council, because there was no precedent of it.
Yeah, so you like had a lot of responsibility as well, right?
Yeah.
So was it like, how did you deal with the pressure of it all?
I genuinely did not feel any pressure, at least of being in the council. Because I was comfortable enough to raise my voice when I wanted to, because I had the conviction that I'm saying what I'm saying for the right reasons. And obviously I had the privilege of being given that space since I was a child in that school. Like, not to say that my word mattered more than the others, but I knew that I could back my peers up if they needed. But yeah, I think overall it was a lot of fun. It never was like scary. It was an honor, and it was, as Shagun ma'am had rightly taught us, every responsibility also has a fun element. So like balancing that was good.
Yeah, becoming the school captain was my dream from grade 2. I had looked up to Gurvin Bhaiya, his style of campaigning and how loud he was. So I always dreamt of becoming like him. And finally, when I became the school captain, I didn't realize it has so many responsibilities. Like organizing the debates. And did you guys organize the farewell?
Yeah, we did because we were actually the first batch to give a farewell, right? Because 11th I think organizes the farewell for grade 12.
Yeah.
So obviously we were the second batch, so the batch above us was the first one to graduate. We were the first ones to organize a farewell. We did a few dances. We did a coffee with Karan style of like interview format. which Adam was meant to host, but then he couldn't make it for some reason, and then I was just thrown on the stage, kuch nahi ho raha hai, Ipsa ko dal do. And then I had to kind of pick that up. Again, no blueprint. We had to do so many things with no blueprint, which was both challenging but exciting, because then it could mean that we define it however we want to. I think that was kind of like the defining characteristic of school back then. We were guinea pigs for a lot of things. A lot of the things it was a blank canvas. So you could kind of create whatever legacy that you want on that. And I think that was a very exciting time. I think now, because the school is so well established, there might be things that are institutionalized now. And this happens a certain way because it works, because we know. But like, I think our time was a lot of like challenging and experimenting and doing things differently. And just really bringing new ideas to the table. Every time we thought, yeah, this should be done, we would just come up to Ashish sir and be like, sir, can we do this? And then depending on how crazy the idea was, it was a easy yes or a slightly delayed yes, but it was mostly a yes. We kind of did a lot of things ourselves also.
One thing that Ashish sir does is he never says no.
Yeah.
If I come up with any new idea, he's like, Shan, we'll face these challenges.
Yeah.
How do we conquer it?
Yeah.
And if I give him reasonable solutions, he's like, let's do it.
Yeah.
So that is one thing I like about Ashish sir.
Yeah.
You had a quite important role in the decade celebration.
Yeah.
How was it?
Oh, the decade was so exciting, because that was the first time that we were reflecting on the 10 years that had passed. We didn't realize when the 10 years went by, and we were like, oh my god, school is already 10 years old. And at that time, it felt like so much time has passed, and how did we grow up that quickly? And now it's been 20 years.
Yeah.
So another decade has passed since, which I cannot fathom. But it was a very exciting day. I think we had multiple celebrations. Like, I think it was a 2-day event.
It was a very long event, and the preparations were like a month-long preparation.
Yeah.
I remember being in grade 2, and I was doing some pharaoh dance.
So it goes school, then college, then work. But what we often tend to forget is our main purpose in life, which is our passion. And like a lot of people our age who are watching the podcast right now are yearning for something more in life. So when you graduated from high school, what was it that you yearned for?
Oh, I don't have a very good answer. I still don't know what my passion in life is. I think I'm just still figuring it out. When I graduated school, I think basically one of my fundamental beliefs at that time, and I think still is there, was that whatever you do has to have a purpose. To always seek something new, to always seek new ideas, different ways of looking at the world. And however, I have kind of like landed up where I am today, and I still don't see it as a final destination. I see it as part of an evolving journey. Has always happened from just exploring, just seeing, okay, something new, maza nahi aa raha, let's do something else, and then exploring, and then trying, oh, let's do this, let's do that, kind of like just following the winds.
Yes.
So you did your bachelor's from University of Southern California.
Yes.
And then you went for your master's to UK.
Yes.
London School of Economics.
Yeah.
How was that shift from US to UK?
That's a good question. They're very different countries, very different to India as well. So, I've had the great privilege of having lived in 3 very different countries and more cities. So, from Bhopal, I went straight to LA. I had never been to the US before. The first time I went to the US was when I went for college. So I had no sense of what to expect, apart from what I'd seen in sort of popular culture and stuff, which luckily for me, USC is exactly what they show you in popular culture. It is the quintessential American university that you see in sort of movies and things, which is very different from what my sort of leaning or vibe is. So I actually struggled a lot in initially. I thankfully did not struggle academically. I was still doing very well, still getting A's and all of that. But I think emotionally, socially, in terms of friendships, in terms of being able to find people that I can get along with and that I can call my friends, it was a very big challenge because I kind of was a fish out of water. I think that as much as I'm appreciative of all the support that Billabong has given me, it is very much being a big fish in a small pond, you know. Like, all the kids are shouting your name now. I'm very glad, and I know that it's well deserved, but I think we need to be prepared for the bigger world. There's so much beyond this bubble of Billabong and this bubble of Bhopal, which is an honor to be able to experience that, but it kind of like shakes you up a little bit, especially when, you know, you have been hyped up to be this perfect human being that's getting all the good grades, that's like an ideal student and like set up as an example to other students. I never felt the pressure of it in Billabong, but I realized when I went out that, you know, there are several other people like me. And initially that was a bit unnerving. I was like, oh God, is this how it's going to be? Am I no longer the it girl? So it's challenging. It's also challenging to realize that you have to keep making new friends if you change places. That was hard because I had friends, I was very lucky to be friends with the most amicable and extroverted girl in school, Aishwarya. Wherever Aishwarya went, I went, and Aishwarya is very easy to love and very easy to be friends with. She's one of the best people I know. So, you know, she would just attract friends, and I came as a free package. So whoever is friends with Aishwarya is friends with me, and that's how I made friends. So without Aishwarya, at USC, I had to make friends on my own, which was very challenging. So I, you know, struggled a lot with mental health. I developed anxiety, and that was kind of like the challenge more than the cultural shock of being in the US. But I think it was good. I think in retrospect, it has all served me well, and it has shaped me into a more resilient person. And then I came back to India, worked a little bit. I can go back to that later. But then after working for 4 years in India, then I went to my master's to the UK. The biggest shock for me in the UK was, in India you're getting 90 plus grades, A's, whatever. In the US it's very easy to get 90 plus. In the UK you can never get above a 7. You can hardly ever get above a 75 in your transcript. And 70 means merit. 70 means distinction. 60 to 70 means merit. I was mostly in the merit range. I graduated with a merit, barely passed. Not barely passed, but according to my standards. And that was the hardest part. Getting used to being mediocre. Because I then had to realize that, okay, I'm mediocre, but I'm mediocre at LSE, which is already kind of like which attracts brilliant minds. And it's good to be mediocre, because that means that you're surrounded by people that are smarter than you. That means you're learning more. But I'll be very honest, it took me a very long time to get used to that and be comfortable with that. And I think that is one thing that, you know, if you want to take some advice from somebody who's kind of charted the path a little bit, is that be ready to not be the best. Be ready to, you know, for people to not know who Shayan is, for people to not look up to Kainat, because, you know, you'll find more people who you look up to, which is exciting.
So how was your job after USC? What career did you?
So I did my bachelor's in international relations, a major in international relations, a minor in economics. International relations is kind of a fancy word of international politics, political science. So I studied that, and I knew that I wanted to work in the development sector, means with INGOs or NGOs, and I wanted to somewhat work in and around gender, the topic of gender. Gender studies was one of my first majors that I declared before I switched a few times. So I came back to India. Luckily my mom also works in the same sector. So she had somehow heard of the YP Foundation. She told me to apply. I applied, and I got the job of a communications associate. So I was helping in their communications team. But there I learned a lot about so the YP Foundation works with young people on issues of sexual and reproductive health and rights. I learned what sexual and reproductive health and rights meant. I learned how do you talk to young people about those things. How do the needs of young people vary across different parts of India? What are the challenges in getting access to good sexual and reproductive health care and knowledge and knowledge that is affirming, knowledge that is not biased, and that enhances your agency and your ability to access those healthcare resources. I learned all of that during my job at the YP Foundation. There were a lot of other logistical challenges associated with it because we were doing this during COVID, and then lockdown happened and we were going to start this research program. Mind you, this is Assam and Kerala where Hindi does not work. I don't speak Assamese or Malayalam, so we had to hire researchers who spoke Malayalam and Assamese. We had to work with them to develop sort of research proposals and everything. Just as we were getting our research proposals finalized, COVID happened and we had to change our entire strategy. Now, interviews have to happen on the phone. How do you talk about abortion to people on the phone and in settings where there is one phone between the whole family and women don't have a space to go outside to talk, and they're talking around their family and they will not be able to say a lot of things? And how do you maintain sort of confidentiality in that? How do you kind of think about the security concerns of doing interviews over phone? So we had to completely change our entire approach and do that, which was very exciting. And because it's problem solving and you're trying to think about all of those challenges. So those were the challenges that we faced. And then I moved over to another organization halfway through that because the project got delayed and stuff. So I didn't get to see the project through to its end, but I hear from my colleagues, from my former colleagues, that it went very well. And the hope is that all of this research can produce evidence and can start a movement, and policies can be based on this evidence.
And I think this is like very reassuring for me to hear, because initially I also wanted to apply abroad, but then something that stopped me was a lot of people saying that once you go to the US you won't come back.
I still get that. I still am nervous. I don't know where I want to land up, but a lot of people were shocked when I decided to come back from the US. They thought that why would anybody leave when they came back? Some people do. And it was not because of visa reasons or anything that I left. I just wanted to come back. I don't know. I don't have a better reason for it or a deeper reason for it. But yeah, it's very hard for people to believe. But I think that's the thing. Like, follow your heart, follow your passion of like where you find purpose and meaning. That is very important to me. I did not find it in the US. I found it in India, and then I'm finding it in London. So wherever that takes you, just go there. You're ever evolving. And we are also very young. We're too young to kind of fix ourselves in one place and be like, I'm going to be here forever. If that's your purpose, that's fine. But the other way is also equally legitimate, Yeah, so don't worry about, you can study in India and go to the US later. You can go to the US, come back. US is not the only country. The UK is lovely. Come to London. I don't think that there's a better or worse in that scenario. It really depends on what you want. I think I was very lucky to find the right people, the right job, the right places to land up where I have today. A lot of it was thanks to the LSE Alumni Network. So I think I got my job because of support from professors and from alumni who are working in the sector that I wanted to. And now you have access to such a rich resource of a very vast and global alumni network of Billabong, and which I really think that you should, utilize and leverage, because you have that access to that resource. So that's why I always want to give back as an alumni, because other alumni have always helped me.
Your alumni network at LSE helped you get the job.
Yeah.
What's your job right now? What do you do?
So I work for the Impact Investing Institute in the UK. It is an independent not-for-profit organization that works to increase impact investment on social and economic challenges in the UK. That is the website definition. Now let me break it down for you, right? There's a lot of social challenges that we deal with. A lot of countries, every country has social and economic challenges. And there's many ways that those can be addressed. One way is through policy, is through government regulation. Government provides certain things. There's a debate in public policy around what kinds of provisions government should provide and what should be left to the market. There's the markets, right? Markets provide certain services. And then civil society, NGOs and communities provide certain things. And so public policy is kind of like a blend of how states, markets and society interact to kind of solve challenges. I think that's what I do. I don't know. I'm trying to just change. And I really I link it back to Bhopal. I would have liked to stay in Bhopal. I love Bhopal. It's where I
We
grew
love
up,
Bhopal.
As much as I love London and I loved studying in the US and everything, or loved living in Delhi, I would really have liked to have had opportunities in Bhopal. So I could stay closer to my family and my friends and still have a good career that made me, feel that I had purpose. Not that you can't have purposeful careers in Bhopal, but I just didn't have enough options for what I was seeking.
At your time at LSE, you got the opportunity to work at Cape Town.
Yeah.
How was it? And I hope that you went to Cape Town and did it. Unlike Atharva who did his degree.
I was going to say, there is a pattern. The students of Billabong have been cursed to not be able to go to South Africa. Unfortunately, I also could not go.
Oh God!
I am very sorry to disappoint you.
My whole life is a lie.
Yeah, no, literally. Does Cape Town even exist?
Yeah, like
Who knows? No, I was just thinking about Atharva when you said that. Sadly, I could not go to Cape Town. But so my program has this wonderful thing called the capstone project. So instead of writing a dissertation, we do a capstone project, which is kind of like a mini internship for any organization related to public policy. Now, one of the people that works in the government of Cape Town is an alumnus of the program. So the government of Cape Town collaborates with our program, the School of Public Policy at LSE, on some years to give us sort of mini internship projects. So our project was helping develop a heat adaptation plan for the city of Cape Town.
So now I think a question that all high schoolers have been waiting to know the answer for is whether studying abroad is really worth all the hype behind it.
I think that's a very subjective question. There's no right answer to it. It really depends on what you are looking for. I think that when you decide to go to a university, rankings and reputation are one important aspect, but there are several other aspects that you should look at. You should look at whether your family is financially able to support it. Do you really want to spend that much money on something? Also think about things like, will I be able to live in that city? Some universities are in the middle of a big bustling city. Some universities are where the campus is the town. And so where would you thrive? What kind of programs are being offered? How much access do I have to professors? What is the ratio of students to professors? These are not things that we think about. These are not things that, some of these things I thought about, some of these I did not, but I think these are the more important questions of, what am I looking for in my education, and does this university provide that? Sometimes the best universities, the top rated universities will not give you that, and sometimes a university in Bhopal can give you that.
Yeah.
So it's a very subjective question. It depends on what you are looking for, and things can be right for, different things can be right for different people. But if you don't get into your dream university, don't feel sad. I wanted to get into Stanford. I did not get in. I got into UC Berkeley, which I think matched my personality better, and I really wanted to go to UC Berkeley. Because of financial reasons, I went to USC instead. Again, equally good university, just a very different vibe. And I'm, in retrospect, glad that I went to USC, because in UC Berkeley, I would have fit right in immediately because it was very similar to my personality. And I would not have faced the challenges probably that I did at USC, which was completely different to what I thought of myself and how I was. And all the growth that I've had is because of that. So, I'm a big believer in everything happens for a reason. It sounds cliche, but it has, rung true for me throughout my life so far. So, if you don't get into your dream university for whatever reason, this is not the end. You will do more degrees, you can go the next time. And at the end of the day, there's only a little bit of difference, and you will have a new experience wherever you go. The idea is to keep your mind open to new experiences and to really go as a sponge that just absorbs whatever it takes, and then, listen to everybody and then use what makes sense to you to frame your own mindset and belief system.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask another question.
Kainat, can we please have some fun now? and I have a game for all of us. Let's play Never Have I Ever. So I have my boards with. So this one is for you.
Thank you.
I have and I have never. So kind of let's start with the questions.
Yeah, sure. So I'm pretty sure all of you know how the game works, right? Okay. So I'll start with the first question. Never have I ever bunked a class.
This is a semi answer. We planned it, but somebody snitched and it could not happen. We planned a mass bunk in 10th grade when we were so done with everything. We were like, bas bahut ho gaya, we will not go to school tomorrow. And we planned it as a whole class.
Yeah.
And one of our classmates did not agree and went and told Samina ma'am.
Oh,
Yes.
they told Samina ma'am.
Yeah.
Who is this classmate?
I will not snitch. But, you know, that classmate will pay their price in due course. Life will come at them. I don't know. No, I hope it doesn't. But, like, yeah. Anyway, that classmate just went and told Samina ma'am. Samina ma'am found out. And she basically, you know, gave us the classic dose and we all went to school the next day. So it didn't work.
Never have I ever buttered up a teacher to get better grades.
To get better grades? No. But to get a lot of other things done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
You have?
I have done everything.
No, I think most of my buttering up was with Ashish sir only, or the administration helping, like asking to do, you know, get other things done. But what have you, like which grades and how much did your grade increase by buttering up?
I passed grade 11 because of that.
Are you sure you want to be saying these things on camera? As the former school captain,
He's like the most.
let me just say, I am not responsible for how the levels of school captains have changed over the years,
He's
okay?
like a living, breathing oxymoron. He's like the most responsible student.
I don't know how you must be very charming. That's the only way that you can get it done.
Okay.
Okay. Never have I ever slept during an entire class.
Which subject was it?
Every subject.
Oh God, you guys.
This was physics class,
Yeah.
and just so that I don't get caught, I had put a pen here so that it kept my chin upright.
Oh my
And
God.
I slept. So that is that.
Wow.
I get very creative with all this.
Technology, yeah. Well, you're applying physics in some way, I guess. So, yeah. No, for me it was chemistry.
Chemistry.
Yeah. No shade to, all the shade to the subject, no shade to the lovely teacher. Taskeen ma'am used to teach me chemistry in my AS levels.
So another question I think is, never have I ever used the excuse of going to the washroom to take a round of the entire school.
Sorry.
Don't take that long, it is.
Okay, the next question. Never have I ever imitated a teacher. Sorry, sir, ma'am.
I've done it in front of other teachers, so it's all good.
Okay, and now something I want to know from the both of you. Never have I ever bribed students to win the election.
Something I have not done.
You have never?
I've never.
Then how did you manage to win?
My speech did it all. Like after my speech, the claps would not stop.
Yeah.
So I was standing on the podium and I did this. I was trying to imitate Shah Rukh Khan, but I couldn't, and I was doing this, and everybody saw me there, and that's when I won the elections. Then I did not even need campaigning, but
Wow.
that speech did it all for me.
So all you need to do is just go to the Shah Rukh Khan class.
And I remember
That's
his
fair.
speech actually. It was his speech and Trisha Dee's speech that really, but like I was like, this is like a school captain. He said, I remember this part very vividly. He's like, you need a shoulder to cry on, I have two. You need a helping hand, I have two.
God.
That's-
And you won on that.
I won on that.
Respect.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I was here saying random things like, I don't even remember what I said in my speech.
The last question. Never have I ever ended a podcast abruptly.
The Billabong Podcast.